Hi guys, so welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a minute. I didn't upload anything last week, so I'm so sorry. It's been a little bit hectic. If you guys follow me on Snapchat, you might know what I'm talking about. Also on my Instagram. I had this makeup look on my Milani limited edition Amore matte liquid lipsticks or metallic liquid lipsticks. I'm talking so fast, oh my gosh. I'm a little bit rusty, I'm sorry. And of course, I'm rocking one of them right now. Love this. As you guys can see, this is more a monochromatic look. I wanted to keep all the warm brown shimmery eyeshadows and lipstick going on here. And also this look was requested by one of my very sweet subscribers. Her name is Janelle. I don't know if I'm saying it right or wrong. Thank you so much, honey, for always being so sweet to me. I will leave your request or your comment down below here, as well as Miss Martina. I know when I did my Amazon A1C makeup haul, I did talked about this. She requested to use this palette. This is what I was wearing on my eyes on my Milani video. I want to make sure this makeup tutorial is very affordable / drugstore. There's only one item that was not affordable, so I could say that it was 99.99999% affordable. If you guys like this makeup look, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel in case you didn't. If you are a new subscriber, welcome to my channel. Without further ado, let's get into this tutorial. We're gonna start with this City Color Harvest Moon eyeshadow palette, and I'm starting with this lightest shade. It's a matte eyeshadow. I'm using my Wet n Wild fluffy blending brush, and as you can see, I'm applying this all over my lid. Next, I'm gonna use this orange soda matte eyeshadow, and I'm using the same Wet n Wild shadow brush. Actually, it's a blending brush. I'm gonna focus this right on the socket of my eye, and then I'm gonna start blending it upwards. Now, what I noticed with this eyeshadow is that you really have to, work a little bit with this more, just because the pigmentation is not as good as I wish it could have been. Although, with a couple of layers and a little extra work, you can definitely get what you want. And believe me, you know that I will, because I want that crease to be very, very defined. Next, we're going to choose a deeper shade. This is more of a terracotta warm brown shade. And this one is a shimmery finish. Love this, actually. I thought it was going to be a little bit too much for my crease, because I typically like to go with my matte eyeshadow for my crease. But no, this was actually pretty darn good. I'm using the same Wet n Wild blending brush. And not for nothing, but this kind of reminds me of my Anastasia Beverly Hills Morocco. Although the Morocco is a little bit more deeper, but this one's not bad at all. Next, we're gonna move on to the lid. I'm using this warm dark chocolate shimmery eyeshadow, and I'm going to apply this all over my lid. Just pack it in as much as you can. What I didn't show in the clip is I also ended up using my fingers. Yep, I dip in onto the eyeshadow and I try to pack it in as much as I could, just to intensify the color a little bit more. Next, I'm using this Morphe detail brush. I don't know the name of it, but I will make sure that I will list it down below in the description box. This is a great opportunity to also define the crease a little bit more, because you know that I dipped in a little bit more of that crease shade that I used before, just to make sure it's more defined, and also because I don't want harsh edges between my crease and my lid. Next, we have to highlight that brow bone, and I'm using the same matte shadow that I use all over my lid, but I really like this way it's looking on my brows. Yes, honey, yes, and I'm blending it with my fingers, just in case. Next, I'm grabbing this makeup wipe remover just to clean out the edges of the outer part of my eye, and also because there's a little fallout on the eyeshadow, but it's okay, it's looking out good. Next, we're going to move on to some Loreal mascara along with this Ardell 118 false lashes. Next, we're going to move on to the face, and I'm using my NYX pore filler because I want to make sure that I fill out my large pores and we have a smooth canvas for my foundation. Now, moving on to foundation, I'm using this 2-in-1 concealer foundation by Milani. I was a little bit surprised because I was like, oh my god, this is so orange. I'm looking like an Oompa Loompa, but you know what? I had to make it work. I'm gonna fix it later on with some concealer, and I'm using my Sedona Lace Angle Kabuki brush. For concealer, I'm using my Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the shade Deep. I like to focus this on the inner part of my eye. just because I'm the darkest on that area, and hopefully it's gonna cancel out the darkness. And then I'm just gonna use my ring finger just to push the product. Then I'm gonna go ahead and use a lighter shade, which is the same thing, the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the shade medium, and I'm just using this to highlight my face. Also like to apply it on the sides of my mouth just because I'm the darkest there. And I'm using my Morphe E12. It's more like a pointy brush just to blend out my concealer. And here, let's not forget to blend out the edges between the foundation and the concealer with my kabuki brush. And last minute thing, I decided to do a little cream contour. I'm using my LA Girl Pro Conceal, and this is in the shade Espresso. And yeah, you guys know that this is very self-explanatory, as you can see. And then I'm just gonna blend it out with an old wannabe beauty blender. Next, I'm gonna use my Wet n Wild contouring palette, and this is in the shade Caramel Toffee. And I'm pretty much setting out my cream contour because anytime you work with any cream contour highlight, you have to make sure that you set it. Moving on to the highlight area, I'm using the Wet n Wild contour palette, and I'm using the lightest shade. I'm gonna call it Banana. I like to go back on my under eye and just touch up with my ring finger, just make sure there are no crease lines, and just make sure that you set the under eye along with the other areas that I just highlighted. Next, I'm gonna be using my Maybelline Studio Fix Setting Loose Powder. I love this because it's such a finely milled powder. Anyways, I'm using my Cinema Secrets Powder Puff, and as you guys can see, I'm pretty much baking my face on the areas that I tend to get the oiliest the most. If you have oily skin, you know the feeling. We're going back again with the lower lash line, so we're gonna start first with the lightest shade on my transitions, which was this orangey matte eyeshadow color, and we're gonna make sure that we connect it to our lid and smoke it out as much as we can. Here I'm using the darkest shade that I use on my lid, and I'm going to smoke it out even more on the lower lash line. I love these type of looks that are very sultry, sexy, and they're very simple and to the point. This is my Mally Beauty eyeliner. This is in the shade Penny. It's a metallic brown shade, but as an alternative and more affordable stuff, you can use the Milani eyeliner, which is very close to this shade. Now here, this is where I go a little bit ham. I like to add layers and layers, if not coats and coats of mascara on my lower lashes because I want them to be extra crispy and extra fierce. Now it's time to clean up all the excess powder that I used when I was baking my face. I'm using this Morphe E1. You guys need to try that. It's so soft. I can't even with this brush. Perfect for loose or pressed powder. I'm contouring my nose with this Morphe M164. It's a small contour brush. Love this. It gives you this perfect line. And then I'm gonna blend out the edges. Here I'm using my Black Radiance True Complexion Contour Palette. This is in the shade Light to Medium, and I'm using the Sculpt shade. I love this color because it's matte and it has this terracotta color, and I'm using this Wet n Wild face brush. As you guys notice, I am using as many City Color products that I have. I'm using my Highlight Trio palette, and this one is called Collection Number 1. I'm using the warm shade just to kind of tie up all this look, which is all about warm shades. I'm using my Morphe M500 to highlight the highest parts of my cheekbones, my cupid's bow, and with my finger, I'm gonna highlight the tip of my nose and the bridge of my nose. Here I'm using this Wet n Wild blush. This one is called Apricot in the middle. I love this because it's such a peachy color that is going to look amazing with this look. And here I want it to be a little extra. I'm using this limited edition Wet n Wild highlighting powder. This one is called Crown of My Canopy. Love this. It's such a stunning color. I'm using the shade that I use on my brow bone just to highlight the inner parts of my eye. Now we can finally move on to the lips. This is the LA Girl Endless Semi-Permanent Auto Lip Liner, and this one is in the shade True Brown. Finally, we reached onto the Milani Limited Edition Amore Metallic. This one is called Materialistic. It smells like cupcakes. It's so yummy. And if you guys want to see a lip swatch video, I will leave the link down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys like and enjoy this makeup look. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you guys like and enjoy this video. I will see you on my next video. Besitos. Bye.